So let's get started with our conversation, with our introductions. And we have seated in the studio with us someone I describe as the minister with a charming mien and welcoming smile always. He's the Honourable Minister of State, Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi. We thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you very much for having me, and good morning, Nigerians.
Yes, and also here is a man who talks faster than he looks. It's Dr. Kingsley Uzoma, Senior Special Assistant, SSA to the President on Agribusiness, and he's passionate about agribusiness. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
We're happy to be on this
panel.
Panel.
Thank you for having me, and good morning, Nigerians.
So how would you describe Dr. Emeka
No, it's for you to introduce.
No. How would you describe him now?
Okay, my brother, who has left me in the diaspora, and but it's a farmer. Yes.
All right, Dr. Emeka Okengwu, Managing Partner Operations of Biosources and Technologies Limited. You're welcome to the conversation.
Pleasure to be here.
Okay, Claire, you can shoot your shot.
Okay, I should start, and I'm going to start with the Honourable Minister because Cassava, there's a Zoom guest.
Yes, there's a Zoom guest.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so joining us via Zoom from Ekiti is Seyi Aiyeleso. Seyi Aiyeleso. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for bringing me to this studio, and good morning, Nigerians.
Okay, maybe we bring in Dr. Uzoma now, the SSA to the President. You've listened to the other guest, and I know that you already have a government's plan, to further improve the processing of cassava as a value addition to economic, benefits. So what are these plans? Let us know.
Okay. As you may recall, last year there was a program, a private sector-led program, but which was supported extensively by the Vice President and the President in principle, the Nigerian Cassava Investment Accelerator, which is being spearheaded by the Boston Consulting Group, their Nigerian office, and the Lagos Business School, to tell you how extensive the Vice President wants us to go. We have been moving through the traditional way, but he wants to extend it as a business, because we have done analysis of the markets and the potentials therein. I will give you an instance. If we use the data of 2022 with importation, 2-point-something billion, there was a program on cassava bread. In fact, they set up a fund, Cassava Bread Development Fund, under the Wheat Levy Fund, which prior to that time was taxed at wheat grain was 5%, but the Wheat Levy Fund, which is supposed to fund the Cassava Bread Development Fund, is 20%. The extra 15% is to go to development of cassava bread. The wheat flour was 35%, now moved to 100%. That was during President Jonathan. The extra 65% was to go into that. But what have we done? Nothing until this administration came on board. So Vice President looked at it and said, what can we do? Before swearing in, Mr. President sent him on a mission, study tour to Ethiopia to go and study the wheat revolution. We saw that in Ethiopia, they are still eating the bread made from teff, njaru. And now they are trying to pivot into extensive independence on wheat consumption and also export. But that has not made them to forget about njaru. Njaru is just like the flour from njaru is also something like high quality cassava flour, is gluten free.
Okay.
So that made him to say, what can we do to enhance the market ecosystem of cassava and also to uplift millions of Nigerians? I will give you an instance. Within the derivative belt of cassava, if we take that 2022 data, or if we use 2023 data, we are 2022 data $3 billion. 10% substitution is $300 million. But from that, it's possible to substitute up to 45%. But let's end it at 40%. 40% of $3 billion is $1.2 billion that would have been saved. And then you have another derivative. You have the ethanol. The ethanol consumption in Nigeria, $155 million. The installed capacity of the ethanol production plants in Nigeria is 514 million liters. Whereas that consumption is 504 million liters. That means you have 10 million liters excess capacity. And conversion of the ethanol plant to cassava basis, because it's all carbohydrate fermentation, you get ethanol. So it's just little retrofitting of the system. We can save that money comfortably. You talk about sugars. 844 billion was used on sugar importation. But I can tell you 70% of the sugar imported into this country are for industrial uses. That means we can actually do 50% substitution, and that gives you 422 billion, $422 million saving. You have sweeteners and syrups, $77 million. You have modified starch and adhesive, $75 million. You have food grade starch, $35 million. You have sorbitol, $101 million. So you have a saving of between 1.2 to $2 billion. And I also give you another instance. We now did a study analysis from 2010 to 2023. If we had just focused on wheat substitution of 40%, Nigeria would have had a savings of $8.4 billion savings. And we did a projection because wheat consumption grows at a 6% compounded annual growth rate. So in the next 10 years, that was last year, 2034, the wheat consumption in Nigeria will actually double. We would have also, if we start today to implement that, we will save additional $16.5 billion in FS, that import substitution. So when you put what we would have, if we had done this in from 2010, 8.4 plus 16.4, you are talking around $25 billion that would have remained in the coffers of the Nigerian CBN. And again, what are the problems limiting this? And that was what the president asked. The problem is the productivity of cassava in Nigeria is low. We're also talking about Thailand. In fact, he talked about 75 per ton. We did the analysis. If we can produce at a price competitive rate of $250 to $275 per ton, we can actually be price competitive with the Vietnamese, with the Taiwanese, with the Thailands and the Indonesians and the Chinese market, where we did our own mapping, just taking a little pie of percentage of the consumption. We can actually export $700 to $800 million worth of cassava. What of the bioplastic? The global bioplastic market is projected to be $385 billion. If we can, and it's growing, that by 2027, we'll actually, cassava, the bioplastic can actually take over more than half of that packaging. This thing. So if Nigeria can tap in to just 5 to 10% of that, we are looking at additional $1 to $3 billion in. So we looked at it and did that mapping that from now to the next 10 years, we can actually have, through import substitution and foreign exchange and through exports, additional $5 billion savings into the FS coffers of this nation. And again, within the West African regional market, all these derivatives, the high quality cassava flour, the sugars, the ethanol, the sweeteners and syrups, modified starch and adhesive, food grade starch, and sorbitol, bioplastics, if we just take only 5%, leveraging the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, only 5%, we have another $1 billion market opportunity for us. Nigeria is the best belt to grow cassava. And again, that is why if we had attended the World Cassava Day, the Vice President took his time to IITA, where they are developing highly sophisticated technologies to enhance productivity of cassava. Because we have seen, if the yield does not increase, like they're getting 30 to 40 tons in Agbeyewa Farm, even when the price crashes to 75,000 per ton, 30,000 tons is 2.something million. At production cost of around 1 million per hectare, they're getting profit of more than 1 million. So it is still a viable. When it was 150, they were making 4.something million per hectare. So what can we do to enhance that? Planting material. Yeah. That is why, let me go ahead. Let me just 1 minute to talk about the semi-autotrophic hydroponic greenhouse system for cassava stem multiplication. If you say you want to plant 100 hectares of cassava in but you not get the planting material, before you transport them from Ibadan, from Abia, from Getia, half of them must have been spoiled. But if you can develop a system that does a rapid multiplication of the planting material within the place you want to plant with soilless, with disease-free planting materials. I will give you an instance. In the field, one plant can only give you planting material for 10 planting materials per year. But this semi-autotrophic hydroponic system can give you between 10,000 to 20,000 planting materials per year. What it means is that on the lower range of it, using the traditional stem planting in the field, you get one plant to 10. This one plant to 10,000. That means this one is multiplication rate 1,000 times more than that. So you can actually install this thing around everywhere in this country and have enough planting material for Nigeria to plant and have enough, bring down the cost so that the industries can begin to patronize, because they say that the cassava from Nigeria is more expensive than the cassava from Thailand, because Thailand is operating at a lower unit cost when you take the big distinct nominator and the smaller denominator is fixed, the nominator is bigger. So we want to make sure we increase the nominator, which is the harvest, so that the unit cost of the cassava per ton from Nigeria will be price competitive, even cheaper than the cassava derivatives from Thailand, from Vietnam, from Indonesia.
I have to interject here. Thank you. And you know, the point is raised. I don't know if Mr. Aiyeleso said 250 or 150.
No, he said 75,000.
Yes, at the moment.
But the analysis we've done,
yes,
with the we use Boston Consulting is one of the best distance. The analysis we've done, if we can produce and ship to China at a price competitive rate of between $250 to $270, $250 is way 4 times more than the 75. So
yes,
what it means is that because why they're not complaining, they have been able to enhance their yield per hectare. An average farmer that is getting 6 ton, 10 ton may not be smiling like them, because if an average farmer is getting 10 ton at 75,000 per ton, it's 750,000.
Okay,
they can barely make profit, but they're producing 30 tons. So 75,000 is 222,225,000.
Thank you.
Per hectare. So they will still have more than 1.2 million naira profit per hectare.
You know, the money you are calling is just sounding music, and you know,
but it's the money that drives it. But if the farmers don't make money, they cannot farm.
So we'll come back to the studio now. Dr. Uzoma, you wanted to chip in one or two things before we take, because some questions have come in from our viewers, which we would like to read, but in just 1 minute, you can chip in what you wanted to say.
Mr. President is interested in widespread nationwide diversification of the economy, and he has consistently asked this question: if cassava, can it only be grown in the south? No. Cassava can actually, the best belt with the availability of water, the best belt to grow cassava is in the north. I will give you an instance. In Australia, they have a farm where they put, because it's very sunny, it doesn't rain, they put 12,500 plants, and the harvesting average yield of one plant is around 13 kg. So they are getting more than 140 tons per hectare. So that can effectively be replicated, like in the Baga axis is talking about, in the Hadeji axis in Jigawa State, in Bedwe, in Nasarawa, in Kwale here, somebody had gotten a plant, just one plant, up to 25 kg, 15 kg. So if you take that, you can actually get more than 120 tons per hectare. And why cassava is of interest is that the yield, the max maize can give you is 10, but this can give you 40, and is also not as input intensive as others, and also the derivative spread from cassava is higher. So the Mr. President wants anything that would diversify opportunities, spreading opportunities across the board.
Okay.
It's not just for the farmers.
People are able to produce rice like
Cassava.
Okay.
Okay, we have questions that have come in. Yes, and this one is from Elisha Muren, Jos East local government area in Plateau State. He said, I'm very happy to hear this cassava farming discussion. My question is, how can a local farmer in the village have access to this hybrid of cassava? You know, this is from Jos. And the second question is from Musa Arome from Abuja. He said, this is to Honourable Minister. What is government doing with cooperative societies and extension work officers? Because cooperatives are vital components to large agribusiness and ease of giving credits to farmers. I think, do you have all this?
Yes, I have some questions here. This one is from Aliyu from Ondo State. It says, how can an average farmer in Ondo State get the high yield cassava seedling mentioned by your guest? Okay, now this one says, good morning NTA. I am happy to listen to your voices on cassava driving Nigeria economy. How can we in the rural areas be involved in this? We farm cassava in our communities. At the end, we'll not see anybody to buy. Please, we need connection. That's from Andrew. And then this is from Professor Omokai Adeleye, University of Benin, Benin City. It says, there is an urgent need to establish a massive national program to drive food production and export. The federal, states, and local government, private sector, community unions should be massively mobilized. That's from Professor Omokai Adeleye. Then this one says, this one is from Abubakar Garba. He says, good morning. I'm a cassava farmer and wish to discuss further with the two doctors on their discuss production and marketing techniques. He's asking, could you kindly give me, he's asking for your numbers and link me with them. Okay.
After the program.
After the Uzoma.
I want all of you,
Just
especially
30 seconds.
the guests that ask questions, that Mr. President is interested in anything that will alleviate, put smile on the faces of Nigerians, especially our smallholder farmers in the villages, and cassava is at the center of it. That is why, for the first time in the history of this nation, at least till this democracy, that the president is taking a presidential level approach to cassava transformation in this country.
Thank you.
And the seeds will be available through National Root Crop Research Institute, through IIT, and through other initiatives now that NADF, all sponsored and backed and supported by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, sir.
Thank you very much. Just a quick one. The cooperative, somebody was asking, we're actually having a cooperative reform and revamp under the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. And I think I will urge the person who has to actually make contact with the Plateau State Cooperative Federation. He will get more insight because they are party to it.
Absolutely.
But overall, let me say this. Mr. President's commitment to our national food sovereignty is that let us have a situation where no one goes to bed hungry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister of State Agriculture, Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me also appreciate Dr. Kingsley Uzoma, Senior Special Assistant to the President and Agribusiness. We're glad to have you join us. Dr. Emeka Okengwu, my elder brother, and of course Managing Partner Operations of Biosources and Technologies. Thank you very much. And also Seyi Aiyeleso, MD CEO, Agbeyewa Farms Limited in Ado-Ekiti. Thank you very much for joining us via Zoom. And thank you for all your SMS. And I hope you got the feedback from the guests here in the studio. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
A major currency unit is the